Thank you for joining me, Lisa.
Thank you for inviting me. I've been such a bag of nerves all afternoon.
I'm so sorry about
That's all right. It's your fault.
that. I'm interested to know what keeps you busy.
Are you joking? Have you got kids? Ruby keeps me very busy. And if it's not Ruby, it's work. You know, it's constant. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week.
How are you feeling today?
I feel better if I had bigger hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. In all honesty, I feel fine. I feel fine. I'm just me getting on with life. Like, I can't let all this stuff take over.
I didn't really particularly want to dwell on this when I kind of did my promotional video because you are such a kind of, as I said, a tour de force that I'm sure a lot of people that may be going through something similar to you don't necessarily want to be defined having something, but I think I just wanted to kind of like go to my question, which is that there might be some people watching tonight that won't be aware of what you're going through at the moment. And that obviously, without putting a finer point on it, you're battling an inoperable brain tumour.
Yeah.
Can you give us some background to what made you realise something wasn't quite right with you and that you needed to go and see the doctor?
We're talking years ago now. So 2006, I was diagnosed with a meningioma.
Right.
It is a benign brain tumour, but I'm going to put it out there, benign is not fine. And that's what I raise awareness of. When I was diagnosed, the reason it came about is because I was living in Thailand, living my best life. Met somebody out in Thailand. We became partners. We're living together out there for 6 months. My life, things always happen for a reason. I'm in this bungalow, paddling around in the pool, and I get a phone call from my best friend back in Camden Town. Lisa, you're going to have to come back. My dad just died of cancer. Straight away, I knew I'd have to get a flight home to basically go to this funeral.
Yeah.
With half an hour, the guy that I was seeing had a phone call from his best friend. And he came back to the pool and told me what it was all about. It turns out his best friend's dad had just died of cancer. His best friend's dad was the same guy.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. We came back to England, and while I was back in England, before we'd got the flight back to Thailand, which I would have then called home, I said, I need to do a pregnancy test. I don't feel right. Something's not right. And I did a pregnancy test and it came back positive. Didn't think anything of it. We just, plans changed. We weren't going back to Thailand anymore. We were going to stay back in England and have a family. I think it was 4 months I carried for until I miscarried. And it wasn't until I miscarried that I then started developing serious issues. Like I was so imbalanced, I would walk down the street and people would think, look at the state of her, pissed at this time of day, COVID, I had it all. The other thing that was very apparent is that one eye was looking for you and one eye was looking at you. The worst squint I'd ever seen. It was just awful. So I was more looking at the visual side of things. Because I'd just come back from Thailand, I actually ended up splitting up with this guy that I was seeing. I had nothing. All my belongings I took with me to Thailand and I came back with nothing. My dad says to me, I'll lend you a car. So I drove all the way up with my neighbour to Leon Sea to pick up this car. As I was driving back on the A127 on the motorway, I knew something was up. I'd already been to Specsavers. I did the motorway. I got off the motorway okay. Went through the restrictions, got completely smashed down the side of the car, called my dad, absolutely frantic. Dad, something's wrong. I couldn't see straight, didn't know what was going on. Go now to the opticians, get a third opinion. So I went to a separate opticians who said straight away, I need to send you to Moorfields Eye Hospital now. You need to go now. And I'm thinking, okay, what is it? Because my squint is so bad. It wasn't until I got to Moorfields, they couldn't give me any more information. I had to wait the whole 6 weeks. During that 6 weeks period, I went from being normal to paralysed from waist down intermittently. I didn't think I'd walk again. I was in a really bad way. And when I went back for the results, I actually went back on my own thinking it was just them going to be telling me that I'm going to have a squint rectified and all be done. And I sat there in the waiting room and he said, yes, Miss Connell, everything's absolutely fine. Give it another 6 months of stability. We'll be able to operate on you and correct the squint. I said, so what did the MRI results show? Oh, you've had an MRI. I said, well, that's why I'm here. I'm here because I'm coming to get my results. An hour and a half later, waiting in this cubicle, a whole team of experts come flooding in, like all these trainees. I thought something was up. I honestly thought they're going to tell me you're not going to be able to operate in your eye, you're always going to have this squint, and you're just going to look ridiculous. Yeah. Came back with this entourage of trainees. He said, Miss Connell, I'm sorry, but it's not good news. I said, okay. He said, the MRI scan has detected you've got a brain tumour and it's inoperable. And, sorry, I don't know why I'm choking. Do you know what? Normally I talk as a third person and it makes things so much easier. But when you start talking about yourself, it makes it a lot harder. I didn't know what to do, to be honest with you, Matt. I was on my own, sitting in this cubicle. They've just told me come back in 6 months' time or bring your parents back if you need us to go over anything. I ran to the toilet and the first thing I did was ring my dad when he was at work. I have a bad memory, but I will never forget this because it's one thing I wish I could rewind. I rang him at work and I said, Dad, you know, I've just had an appointment and they've told me I've got a brain tumour, not knowing what I was actually saying, you know, what that meant. And he thought I was taking a piss. He was joking. And it wasn't until I got home and I was just in bits that he realised this is real. She's just been told she's got a brain tumour. And it just spiralled out of control from there, to be honest with you. That was back in 2005. I moved back from Thailand. So by 2006 was diagnosed. And I just went from bad to worse. When this all happened, I literally went sideways, tried to commit suicide a couple of times. You know, I thought my life was over. I was stuck in a one-bedroom flat on the second floor. I couldn't get up and down the stairs. I was in a really, really bad way. Always used to ask, how long have I got to live? And they always used to come back with the same answer. It could be months, it could be years. We just don't know the answer. So there was me in this flat, pretty much wheelchair bound, crawling the walls. I was not going out. I couldn't get to my kitchen without holding on to radiators and sofas. I thought that was it, you know. I think everyone thought that was it. My dad rang me up one day. He said, Lisa, you've got to come and meet me in the city for lunch. I've met this guy called Tony Blake, and Tony has the same type of brain tumour as you. I was thinking in my head, he's in the city, he's working, and I'm meeting him for lunch. He can't have the same brain tumour. I'm like literally paralysed from waist down. And I do remember my mum driving me down into the city with my stepdad, and they both had to take me out arm in arm to cross the road to get to where my dad was. And I saw Tony and I thought, there's no fucking way he's got a brain tumour, excuse my language. He had a fag in his hand. Pint. He looked suited and booted. I thought, there's no way, absolutely no way. When I sat down and spoke to him, he said, do you know what, the only way I got through this, and I was told that I would be wheelchair bound, and the way he got through it was going to the gym and exercising and retraining his brain. And I thought, at the time, I probably thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But then with time, my dad got me membership at David Lloyd in Finchley. This personal trainer offered his time free of charge to me. I was going 5 times a week before social media was really about. I went to the gym. I was doing all these coordinating and balance and strengthening exercise, you name it, I was doing it. And in the space of 6 weeks, I completed a program that they thought would take me 6 months if I even got to that. And a year later, I did a 10K run. Have gone a bit sideways with my balance and coordination. That's why I wanted to document it last year on my reels of going to the gym and showing that you can retrain your brain. You have to have it in you to want to get on with it and crack on. If you don't, you're never going to get anywhere.
You saw that guy. You could see that he had been successful by doing that and going to the gym. That it was like, that was almost like the green light that you needed to go, right, yeah, I can do that. I can see the results. And that's what I can kind of work towards. Do you find that that really helped?
When I saw Tony at the time, I was in disbelief. I thought there's absolutely no way he was wheelchair bound. I remember going to the gym and there was a staircase up to the actual gym part, and I was crawling the walls trying to get up to the stairs, dragged myself onto the reception counter, and I said, I'm here not because I want to be, because I need to be. And the trainer knew straight away what the issues were. You know, it was obvious. And I think in the back of my mind, knowing how much of an impact this guy had made on me, I thought, if he can do it, I can do it. I'll give you a really crap scenario, but there was this coffee shop next to the gym, and my family come and met me at lunchtime after I'd done my gym session, and they were all round the table going, my back, my head, my this, my that. And I literally, and excuse the language again, but I got up, stood up from the table, slammed my hands down on the table. Will you all shut the fuck up? I've just been in the gym for 5 hours trying to retrain my brain to balance and coordinate again, and you're all here moaning about the simplest little things that you can do things about. It was in that moment that I thought, look how far I've come. I was probably only a few weeks into it, and already I could see the difference. I don't do woe is me.
I think you have to be like that if you're gonna, keep fighting. Next challenge, and you seem to be that wired. How did they react to you doing that?
And I don't swear that often, just a
Yeah.
little. But I really made I was just fuming because I was so exhausted, because one of the things I suffer from is fatigue, and not just because I'm perimenopausal and getting old, but because of this brain tumour. And so I just remember coming out of that gym thinking, I am exhausted and I really don't want to be here for a coffee, and all I can hear is moan.
Yeah.
If you want something to moan about, step in my shoes.
Sally's joined us, by the way. I don't know whether you can see Sally.
I think I'll stay off the camera because I'm not looking all that good at the moment. So you've just got my voice.
For anyone that's watching, Sally's here just as kind of a bit of support, I think, and in case Lisa forgets anything or what have you. How did your diagnosis impact your life as a whole? Life choices or decisions, and then obviously your day-to-day life?
If I was to list them out, you think, oh my God, she's got so many things wrong with her, which is why I never do it, because every day there is something. When I went through debulking surgery, where they took out less than 5% of my tumour, it caused a stroke during surgery. So that affects me down my right side. But before that, I was affected down my left side from the tumour. I don't notice that because my right side's almost taken over. I have issues when it comes to cooking, picking things up, that kind of stuff. I get hemifacial spasms, memory loss. Doesn't help being perimenopausal, so I'm a liability. Oh my God, I didn't realise till I took on a job as a mortgage advisor.
Is this post your diagnosis?
Yeah, I remember having to come and pick you up, didn't I? I had to pick you up from work. Oh my God, I remember that. Yeah.
I could not understand and I could not work out why I couldn't get it. I just couldn't do anything with a figure in it. So in the end, I left. Anything with a figure means even cooking. So you know when you've got timings on cooking?
Yeah.
I can't do anything that's got numbers in it. I don't know why. It's since the tumour. I mean, I was bright once. Anything with a figure, forget it. It's just not possible. So I struggle with cooking because of handling the saucepans and dropping them and things like that and cutting. And I do it slowly, but I have to have help for that kind of stuff. Sally's my main source of help.
I think you've also mentioned in your notes that you're slightly deaf in one ear as well. And
yeah, I'm completely deaf in my left ear now. That started early on because I used to complain about equalising. You know, when you go up in an aeroplane, your ear is all funny, or under the water.
Yeah.
Playing for that for years, I had bronze fitted, all that kind of stuff. And it turns out that actually it's one of the tentacle layers of my tumour growing in my ear canal, which has completely made me deaf in my left ear.
My goodness. So you're saying that you probably had a tumour all the way back then?
Yep. No idea how it's caused. No idea.
I was going to say about numbers. I mean, is that so that if you said like 20 minutes to cook this, or that would really be difficult?
It will be bad. I've got this playlist called My Culinary Adventure. You don't see the bad size, you know, where I'm cutting an onion and the onion goes flying up into the sky, or holding a saucepan. I try my best, and when it comes to the timings, I just have to go with what I think rather than what the time says, because I just can't do it when it comes to a time. My dad bought me a dual fuel air fryer for Christmas.
Oh, right.
It has been a godsend because I've set my times exactly as they should be, and it's finished at the same time. It's done. And you can cook anything in it.
You did touch on the fact that you have hemifacial spasms, and I know that you've been brave enough in some of your posts where you show the spasm, obviously the effects it has on you. I did a little bit of research on it, and I thought that there could be something that would trigger it. And I'd like you to obviously answer that. I think I know the answer. B, obviously whether it hurts, and C, if there's anything that you can do, you know, if you were to have one, how you could kind of work your way through it. Now, they are really simple questions, but I think you're going to give me a surprising answer that I think a lot of people won't actually appreciate.
It might hemifacial spasms started off very light, just once every now and then, that kind of thing. It would happen down the whole side of my face. Then I went in for debulking surgery to allow for a second lot of radiotherapy. And after the debulking surgery, it would happen like 6 to 7 times a day. Then about 5 years ago, I had an accident outside my house. A car went into me as I was putting Ruby in the car seat, and it went into my head. That caused my spasms tenfold. So now I get them 15, 20 times a day, something like that. Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry.
You okay?
Oh God, I promised I wouldn't do this. Right. So I knew that they'd got worse, but you know your own body, right? Last year I questioned the neurologist. I said, look, my hemifacial spasms seem to have gone not just to the side of face, but I'm getting them more in just the jaw. So they're not happening all across, it's happening more on the jaw. And I feel like something's happening in my ear. I don't know what it is, but can I have an MRI? So they brought on an MRI scan early.
Yep.
Fuck. It's because I'm talking about myself. I normally talk in the third person. Right, so
If you want to stop, we can. It's okay.
I've got to get myself together.
Yeah, take your time.
I knew something was different. In March this year, I had another MRI scan. It wasn't due till October. And that would have been 3 years since my previous scan, because I was put on 3 yearly scans. Different information. It's a very long-winded story what happened. It's all pinned on my profile if anyone wants to check it out anyway. Shocking, actually, what happened. But I get a text alert through an app saying I had a report about my MRI scan, having just been told that everything had been stable. Ruby and I went off to celebrate it at Legoland. And then I get this alert on my app saying that the tumour was progressing and blah, blah, blah. I didn't understand. It was all in jargon. It was something that apparently shouldn't have gone to me. It should have gone to the MDT meeting. But it came to me nevertheless. So I then questioned it. The be-all and end-all is that it isn't stable. It has been stable, but for the past 4 years, it started growing again.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, don't apologise. Nothing to apologise at all. I have been watching your videos, and yeah, I've been picking up on different bits. I wouldn't say I'm up to speed with where you are. All I'm getting is what you've posted, but I think you were saying along the lines of it's not as necessarily a solid matter, and that it was potentially a bit. It may have spread, not necessarily grown, but kind of spread. That's
what I thought, and that's what they were reporting back to me until I got the final consultation. And that's when they said, look, don't be alarmed, it has grown, but minimally. My worry is that 10 years ago, they said to me, your tumour is inoperable. If it grows anymore, they wouldn't be able to intervene because there's no treatments out there. I've had 2 lots of radiotherapy already. They debulked, took less than 5% out, and that was it. I just thought if it grew, that was it. But what they are doing at the moment, and I'm going to remain positive about it, they're going to monitor it. That's all they can do. They can't intervene now. They're going to monitor it. I'm going to see them in July. I was supposed to have an appointment a couple of weeks back, but I had to postpone it because it goes in one ear and goes out the other, and I don't remember stuff, so I want my dad to be there. I know that it's not going to progress that fast between now and July, and I'm going to just request 3 monthly, 6 monthly scans. All I can do is monitor it, and then when it comes to it, decide whether I will take treatment or if there is any treatment to offer. I just don't know. That's why my motto is live for the here and now. Like, what will be, you know?
You are so brave. I just want to say thank you for carrying on. I'm not off the loss for words, but yeah, I sometimes get stuck with knowing what to say. You're out here. You are large. I probably said at the beginning, you're so full of energy that I think if anyone were to stumble upon one of your videos, they wouldn't have a clue. They wouldn't have a clue what you're going through. You are an inspiration. So and just doing this is inspirational. I hope that others that are potentially at the earliest parts of their journey will look at you and go and take the lessons that you learned from that guy and kind of go, right, okay, yeah, if I if I have that positive mental attitude, then I can improve my current situation and just keep pushing. This is, again, these are I feel like I hope these aren't provoking questions, and I can obviously move on to something a bit more positive, which is what you're focusing on. But how do you deal with the stresses, managing the day-to-day stresses and potential anxieties that are related to your condition?
It's really hard because it's just myself and Ruby here, and she's 8, but luckily she's of age that I don't mollycoddle anything with Ruby. I say it as it is, because at the end of the day, she needs to be prepared and she needs to understand. Some people might say I'm doing the wrong thing by telling her the truth, but I don't lie. It's a really big thing in our family. Like, we do not lie. We say as it is and deal with the consequences. When I first found out it was growing a couple of weeks ago, I literally was in bits. I didn't know how to react. Luckily, Ruby was with her dad and I managed to have some time to myself to just let it all out. Like I said to you, my way of getting through it is helping others. You know, if I focus on something, like before, back when I was diagnosed, my focus was rent a date for charity. I didn't have a child then, but it was rent a date for charity, and it was a focus on helping other people. And that got me through those times. Now my focus is exactly the same. It hasn't changed, and I'm doing just that, helping other people, because for me, I'm a giver, not a receiver. Maybe I should learn to receive, but I am a giver. If I talk about myself as we have been, directly talking about me, I find it really difficult. But if I'm talking about myself as a third person, it's easy. It's like, it's not happening to me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is happening to me. And luckily, I've got a huge family support network, friends and family. My team are amazing. I couldn't want for any more, you know. It just makes me think, we're going to talk about in a minute about the launch of Influential Stars. What pisses me off is that it takes for something like this to be diagnosed with, you know, the death card, so to speak. Who knows when we're going to die? I don't see it as I'm going to die in 6 months' time, I'm going to die in a year. I see it as we're all going to fucking well die. When nobody knows. Some people could go to bed and get run over the next day and not say I love you to their partner. It can happen to anyone at any given moment. And my point is, you need to make the most of the here and now and enjoy it and not do woe is me. That's why I put this fit list together. You know what a fit list is, don't you? Fit list. It's my version of a bucket list. Replace the B with an F. And that is my kind of fit list. I think bucket list, you're putting the wrong thing out to the universe. And I don't really want to say, when I kick the bucket, I want to do this before I do. So, fuck it, let's do it. And let's do it now.
What is on your effort list then?
I would do anything. I'd do anything. I'm up for any kind of challenges. Literally anything. I've jumped out of planes before. So I don't know if it'll be that sort of challenge, or if it'll just be, for example, I have a brochure up for grabs for myself and my daughter Ruby, but the winner gets to bring a friend and they get an overnight stay in a hotel and then go to see making of Harry Potter at Warner Brothers Studios the next day. Still, to me, a fit list. Fuck it, let's do it. This is what Ruby wants to do, and I want to make as many memories.
No, that's fair enough, as you possibly can. Sorry to finish your sentence. Is there any other things that you think I would love to be able to do?
First thing first, I don't know if I can turn this around. Hang on, let me see if I can turn this around. I don't know if you can see it on my walk. Can you see that in the distance? That's a world map.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ruby made me buy it, and you put pins into all the locations that you've been. My focus now is Ruby, first and foremost. Second of all, it's Influential Stars. It's about living, and I really wants to take Ruby travelling, so much so that I have spoken to her school when they've authorised it, because they know the situation I'm in. I just want to explore life, do things that I wouldn't necessarily do, but then who doesn't? If you know your time could be up, I'm not saying it's up, I'm never going to say it's up. I just want to do things like even go back to Thailand, take Ruby back to Thailand. I am absolutely cannot wait for the day I take her back, because I think that it's not about me anymore, it's about my daughter, and I want her to have memories. And I could take her to Thailand next week, but I'll forget it by the week after. It's just making my daughter happy. Yeah, the most important thing, whatever I do.
It's all about making those memories, those core memories of the times that you're together, and it's really honourable. Would you like to share any memorable moments from your journey? I know I think you've come back and said that Sally might help you answer this one because of your memory.
I'm going to have to ask Sally and Lou and Summer if they've got any memory. I know I remember them at the time and then I forget them again. I tell you what I do remember, and that's only because my daughter is named after her. I remember way back when I first started raising awareness of brain tumours, I was on London Tonight or ITV News, one of them, promoting Rent a Date for charity, but I asked to bring along a little girl who was 2 at the time, called Ruby Owen. I met so many kids doing what I did, and I used to call them my little angels because I had an events company called Guardian Angels, which was spurned on by Rent a Date for charity. To this day now, not one of them, and I probably had about 12 that I was helping, and not one of them is alive. And Ruby Owen literally stole my heart, and that's why I called Ruby Ruby, because inspiration. She was just an inspiration, as were her family, and unfortunately she didn't get to make it to America for her treatment. I remember that. There are things I remember, but I don't know if I've remembered them properly.
There are a few things that you've done that have been like incredible. Like you went on Lorraine Kelly, you've done quite a lot of TV work and magazine work, which are kind of highlights, aren't they, for you as well? There's been some events that you've been in. When was it? Was it last year or the year before? You did an event and you spoke at the event, and it was just, you were so scared, weren't you? It was at Epsom Racecourse.
Oh, okay. I don't remember fully, but I know I did the speech.
Yeah, you did a really long speech, and there was probably about 200 people in the room, and you could literally hear a pin drop. Everyone was glued to your story. It was so emotional. We met some really lovely people as well that night. Do you remember? Just to settle her nerves, she drank about 3 glasses of Prosecco before the speach, didn't you?
I'm a cheap date, actually.
She's just amazing. Oh yeah, of course, Lou. We climbed the O2 last year as well, didn't we?
Yeah, that was part of my fit list.
No, there's been lots of things. She's just amazing. Lisa's right with what she says. I think sometimes she's under the illusion that it's not actually happening to her. And she kind of puts her health to the side and concentrates on everyone else around her, making sure everyone else is okay, raising awareness for brain tumours on OLC, the main focus, but obviously influential stars as well. I think that's what gets Lisa through the day, through every day, is just helping others all the time and raising the all-important awareness for brain tumours. Yeah, hats off to you, Lisa.
How does it sometimes make you feel when you're told about things that you've done in the past that you might have a little bit of a memory of? How does that feel? Because to know that you're in front of 200 people, I think for most people would be quite a daunting thing, and something that you would always have. I mean, you never remember everything. I think no matter who you are, you'll never remember every single element of everything you've done.
I think she's forgotten how well she did that night, actually, and I'll never forget that. You probably don't remember, do you, Lise?
No, good job you're here. The hardest part of my memory is not so much when people say, do you remember this, do you remember that? It's not remembering my daughter grow up.
But this is why Lisa makes a lot of reels, her social media platform. In a way, she looks at as her photo album. It's her album of videos with her family, with especially her daughter. So the things that she won't remember, she can always go back to on her platform and look at. And Ruby's got that as well. That's important, and that's one of the main reasons why she posts what she does. It's like a diary, isn't it?
I watch the video back and I won't remember, but it will give me that feeling of excitement or happiness, or just that feeling to watch something like that back. Oh, we did that, Ruby's forever saying, don't you remember this, Mum? Oh no, you've got no memory. But she uses it to her advantage as well.
Yeah, she could always say, no, you did say I could buy that Nintendo Switch.
You wait till she hits her teenage years. She'll be on your TikTok going, Mum. You know that.
I put it down to the perimenopause. My dad calls it selective, so I'm just sticking to that.
Yeah, yeah.
I forget things all the time. Sometimes I think I'm worse than Lisa. We're like Tweedledum and Tweedledee sometimes. It's awful. Some of the mornings we have, it's like, oh my God, what are we doing?
If it's okay for me to move on to influential stars, because I know you've mentioned it, you have mentioned it in this interview. I've watched some of your videos and I'm really interested to find out more about it. Obviously, I think you said where it came from, which was a good few years ago. And I think I heard that as a charity, it was kind of quite a difficult thing to do because celebrities were now becoming linked to charities and therefore it restricted the ability to have them working with the brain tumor charity that you supported by setting up influential stars. I'd like to know how you're able to kind of bring everyone in and ultimately have that business that can obviously help support that, raise charity, raise awareness, and do all the good stuff that you've mentioned.
Starting back from years ago, I came up with an idea that hadn't been done before, and that's why the story went all over the world. It was called Rent Estate for Charity, and it was an auction site. Initially, it was renting myself out and friends and people like that, and the proceeds went to brain tumour related causes. But then celebrities got involved, and it became a meet and greet platform for celebrities. But it was just to brain tumour related causes, and I struggled to get celebrities first and foremost for those charities. In the time that it was online, so it was a space of 6 months, it was supposed to carry on, but my health deteriorated and I had to go in for radio and surgery and all that kind of stuff. Never thought it would come back again. Then I think it was 2021, Sally, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I had a meeting with a charity who basically spurned the idea of reigniting Rent Estate for Charity. But there was something that I was doing wrong. I knew there was things that I was doing wrong when I had it back then. And that was, one, celebrities, creators, influencers, if they've got a charity they support, they won't support another one. It's just their specific charity. Second of all, auction site was only available to those that could afford it, like to be able to win a date with these celebrities. So I have now relaunched it, renamed it. It's called Influential Stars, and it's a prize draw platform. So it's a meet and greet platform for, when I say celebrities, anyone over 10,000 followers. So you could be a creator, an influencer, or a celebrity to join the platform. And what it does is they get to choose whatever charity they want from the UK, and that includes crowdfunding pages. So those that are raising money for life-limiting treatments or once-in-a-lifetime opportunities for people that, you know, are like myself. We are a business. The reason we're a business, there's two reasons. I'm going to be straight with you. I'm very honest from the start. When I did Rent Estate for Charity all those years ago, I never once took a penny. And we raised just over £50,000. And I worked my butt off to get that. This time round, it's slightly different. I've now got an 8-year-old child that I need to look after. And I need to put a roof over her head. And I need something as a legacy for me to give to her when I do go. This way, not only does the creator, I keep calling them creators. Do you know what? People don't like being called influencers. I'm a creator, so you can never be right in what you say. Anyone with over 10,000 followers can join this platform and raise money for their chosen cause. They also get paid for it. So they have an option to earn a commission or pass the commission on to the charity. It's entirely up to them. And the reason I've done that is because way back when I did it before, very, very small amounts of celebrities would do anything for no money. They wanted to be paid. And some of these celebrities wanted a lot of money. Now on this platform, if they are going to sell the tickets, potentially they could earn a lot of money and in the process, a lot of money for their chosen cause. So I've done it as a win-win for all of us. Do you know what I mean? I can't comment when it comes to figures or finance. I'm leaving that down to Anne-Marie, our finance director. But what I can say is that we do everything. For example, if they want security, they get security. But this is not primarily focused on charities. For me, this platform is focused on everyone should have a fit list. Everyone. A creator, celebrity, whatever you want to call them, gets to choose a fit list activity. And we've partnered our experiences up with Virgin Experience Days. They choose an activity of their choosing that the prize draw winner will then get to do with them. So in effect, that's two people ticking off their fit list. But at the same time as doing that, they get to raise, first and foremost for charities, it's awareness. It's not the funds, it's awareness of their cause. They get to raise the awareness whilst doing their promotional videos or whatever for their prize draw. But at the end of it, they also get to donate proceeds directly to their chosen cause.
Say you turn around and said, Ollie Murs wants to go and do something, skydive or something. You can join Ollie Murs, do a skydive. And the people that are really keen to see Ollie Murs can then obviously buy the ticket. They've got just as much chance of winning it as anyone else. Whereas before, with the previous platform, it was almost like, well, Mr. Big Bucks here, I can give you 10 grand and I can go and do that. And it would kind of price everyone out. And it would, although you may raise the money for it and the time with the likes of Ollie Murs, it's sorry, my mind is now ticking on things which I can talk to you about another time. Celebrity gets the opportunity to do the thing they've always wanted to do that might be outside of finance. Am I right in thinking it could be outside of finance? You know, it's one of these things of chance of a lifetime, something that most people would never normally get to experience.
Depending on the amount of followers and how much they're going to put into the platform for selling their tickets will depend on what experience they get to choose. I mean, the price of experiences can be very high, but we're not going to give that to someone who's got 5,000 or 10,000 followers, because we know to cover the experience costs, let alone everything else, they've got to sell a hell of a lot of tickets. If we had, let's just say, a celebrity who had 2 million followers, we know they're going to sell their experience, in which case they get to choose anything off a Virgin Experience Day platform. They can do absolutely anything on there. At the point of registration, when a celebrity or creator signs up, it does say if there is not an experience for your liking or in the location, contact us, we'll fix it. And that's when we give them the whole list of what's available. We work out what they'll be able to potentially sell.
Yeah.
And that's it, they're away. You know, they get to tick off their fit list with their supporters at the same time as raising awareness and funds for their cause.
And your idea is brilliant. It's genius. I do love it. Roughly how much does it cost to buy a ticket?
Most of them are set at £5, but they can go, I think the most we've got at the moment is £10 a ticket, but they can go up to £15, I think is the max for anyone who's got like fly high in followers, but it's between 5 and 15.
This is probably my final question, and then I've got the quiz at the end. So, I mean, what advice would you give to someone facing a similar diagnosis to yourself?
Don't Google it. Don't Google it and don't give up, please. Honestly, the amount of people I speak to on a daily basis who have been, woe is me, and I've got this prognosis and I'm going to die. You know, the way I look at it is, we are all going to die. We all have a life expectancy. When? No one knows. You know, as I said to you earlier, you could go out and get run over by a bus tomorrow and not even say goodbye to your family. I think it's very important that anyone that's diagnosed with a brain tumour, don't give up. Don't listen to what the doctors say either, because I was told you'll never be able to walk again. I was told I'd never be able to talk again properly. Well, although I'm talking properly, I do have speech impairment. You can retrain your brain to do anything. You literally can. I've retrained my brain to get balanced and coordinated again. There's a girl on here, actually, Keira Knightley. I want to say Keira Knightley, but I think I'm calling that.
Keira Mitchell.
Keira Mitchell.
That's right. Yeah.
I am following her journey. She's exactly how I was all those years ago when they said I would never walk again. And I cannot tell you how much I'm in awe of her. She goes with the personal trainer, Giovanni, I think his name is, and he's a brilliant coach. And she's doing her balance and coordination exercises. And I keep saying to her, Keira, I was exactly like you 10, 15 years ago. You will get through this. You just got to persevere. But it will only happen to those that persevere. If you give up, forget it. You may as well give up on life. You know, if you've either got to be determined or you're not, basically. So don't give up.
That's a fantastic piece of advice. And I think that goes for probably anyone with anything, be it, you know, mental health. I'm obviously not demeaning what you're going through at all, but I think it's a fantastic piece of advice for anyone at any point, at any time in their lives. You can just accept down that path that's not going to get you any further forward, or you just go. I think it shows the mark of a very strong person to not listen to a doctor. I think for me, I'm going to just go, oh, the doctor said that, so that's that. But from what you've said and what you've experienced, and from the experiences of others, if you fight and you keep moving and pushing forward, that you can turn things around. Have you ever gone back to the doctors and gone, you said that I won't be able to walk again?
I haven't actually said that to them, but my oncologist, who's known me for years and years and years, he's just like, you're remarkable, because he didn't think I would get out of that state. I think I've got a video on TikTok or Instagram somewhere where I literally came out brain like a cabbage. That's the only way I can put it. I was in a really bad way, and even I didn't think, that's why I tried to commit suicide a couple of times, because I thought my life was over. But it wasn't until I met someone that gave me that inspiration to keep going. And that was Tony that did that for me. And I just thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And I'm going to show others that they can too.
And you're doing that right now. In terms of influential stars, is there any kind of things you'd advise, if I wanted to buy my ticket now, for argument's sake, or tickets, how would I go about buying that?
Influentialstars.org. Have a look at the prize draw section. You can either choose it by the influencer or celebrity, or you can choose it by the activity. So if you want to design perfume, go to Warner Brothers Studios with me and Ruby. There's Crystal Maze is up there. Someone's just completed that prize draw, actually. He did really well. Yeah, just go on there. And if you're an influencer or creator with over 10k followers, register here button. Simply register. If there's nothing to your liking, message us. We'll get it sorted for you.
I'm going to look that up.
I asked one more thing. I have a small team. There's 5 of us all together that are running this show. And at no point have we had anyone with expertise in the areas that we're working in come to us and help us. If there is anybody watching with any expertise in business, finance, whatever it is, knowing celebrities, events, anything that they think, do you know what, I'd love to give these guys a hand, and they've got time. Yes, it is voluntary at the moment, but that's not going to be forever. We need all the support we can get, basically. Just thought I'd mention that, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did. I just want to say what a fantastic guest you've been, how open you've been, and how honest you've been. And also, I do appreciate how difficult at certain stages it's been.
Sorry, but
No.
I'm fine until I talk about it as myself.
Yeah. And at no point should you be apologising at all. You've got nothing to apologise for. Crying as laughing as anything else. It's a natural response and a natural reaction, and there's nothing to apologise for. So I just wanted to take a moment just to say thank you very much for your time.